Welcome back to Convin Conversations. Today episode is very special, not because buzzwords or trends, but because it's about real India. The India that doesn't have apps, dashboard, or high-speed internet, but does have ambition, resilience, and scale. Our guest today has spent over 3 decades inside India's largest bank, watching Indian banking evolve from ledgers and registers to digital platforms and AI conversations. He began his career in 1990, literally computerizing branches by hand, and today it sits at the heart of financial institution. Prakash Chandra Baror is a general manager at SBI and board director for multiple regional rural banks, institutions that serve India's last mile. What excites me today about the today's conversation is Prakash isn't just thinking about banking; he's thinking about nation building and Viksit Bharat and how technology can serve people who are historically been left out. Prakash sir, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashish. Uh, Thank you for the wonderful introduction. In fact,
Sure.
my journey with the banking we began in way back 94,
Mm-hmm.
when the banks were all in bricks and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and our banking was based on entire thick ledgers. So we
Mm.
started from that, and then it's a long journey, long satisfying journey. Uh,
Yeah.
was fortunate enough to be part of converting those ledgers into small uh, desktop banking, as we used to call that branch banking over here. And
Mm-hmm.
then again, I was part of from desktop banking to the core banking system, which is like the banking for the entire
Yeah.
converting a bank on a particular platform. So it's a
So
quite
when you entered the
long,
banking at
longer
a
path.
time, most branches were completely manual, right? No core banking, no systems, no automation. Is
All
that
the branches were completely manual. All the branches were completely manual, and
okay?
that's where we began on that. So
Got
it's
it.
from there, then moving to the branch heading a branch in a the metro, then moving on, heading a region. A region, as you know, it's like a district or multiple district branches where 40,
Mm-hmm.
50, 60 branches are headed. Then the zone. The zone is again, it's a 4, 5 cluster of 4, 5 regional offices, and then moving to a network again on 4, 5, 6 zones. And in between, I mean, a little bit of diversion such that was like I headed the first training setup of State Bank of India, and now we call that Apex Training Institute, Apex Training
Yeah,
Institute,
yeah, yeah.
ATI, that is State Bank Staff College at Hyderabad. And
Got it.
about
So,
this,
a quick follow-up question here, sir, because I'm
yeah,
very interested in the story there. So, can you help us, go through the early phase of your career? Like, what it was like computerizing branches in 90s? And did you ever imagine that one day you'll be thinking about AI and automation for rural India at that point in time?
yeah, that's a wonderful question once again. See, the vision that time was not that one day the entire bank will be uh, or maybe the entire system will be so neatly integrated. That time it was more that the entire system banking is going into a computerized system. Of course,
Mm,
later, early 2000, the vision got opened. That
mm,
time, the banking started looking for connecting each other's. The internet banking came early 2000 and
mm,
followed by mobile banking and all. And that was the time when the things started opening up. And that
mm.
time, it was, I think, thought of, and the thought leaders of that time probably thought the entire banking can be on a desktop or can be on the move. That
Yeah.
was the time when everything got transformed from a
Mm.
stationary brick and mortar bank branch banking to probably to on the move with the internet banking and later on with the mobile banking.
And did it happen in the early 90s or later half of the 90s?
See, this internet banking came the early 2000. In
Early 2000.
90s, it was only the entire banking was inside the branch only,
Mm.
at least in
Got it. And the
90s.
computerization started happening in like 90s,
Early 90s, early
early 90s.
90s. So
Okay.
that's what.
Understood. Understood. And you also led the SBI's Apex Training Institute, right? Which
Right.
shaping like thousands of bankers. So when you look at the bankers today versus like the bankers 20 years ago, what is the biggest mindset shift that you are thinking the industry had done in these last 20 years? How has the banker started thinking differently? We would love to hear that part from.
See, the biggest shift, if you look at the bankers were very much focused on that particular center only. What's happening on the center, what they can do at that particular branch or that particular village or town, that much only. Today, the
Hmm.
bankers have widened uh,
The
their
horizon.
thought processes, the
Hmm.
spectrum, the paradigm has really widened. It's
Hmm.
not only about that particular center, it's about the entire economy, it's about the entire bank and the entire banking system. So bankers
Hmm.
might now the bankers cannot remain in isolation. He or she may be working in a small village, but what's happening around in the entire banking system, he or she has to remain part of that. Otherwise, will be left out.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Understood. Understood. Makes sense. And if we talk about the skills that the bankers would need, absolutely must to have, like, what would that skill set be now?
See, the bankers certainly the prime motive is the customer service. The customer
Hmm.
service has to be there of the prime motive of every banker. But if we talk about skill set, now, as the banking has different verticals, the banking has different kind of roles. With time, they have lots of diversifications. So the skill set, the very much one, the banker has to remain agile always, number one.
Hmm.
Number
Yeah.
two, banker has to keep pace with the time. What's happening in the if whatever happening in US or Iran today is going to affect the bank, or
Yeah.
the bank may not be directly dealing with any country over there, but the bank is got affected. So the
Yeah.
banker again need that particular skill set, that he or she understand what is the kind of thing happening around and how to align or realign the working of a particular bank.
Makes
Another thing
sense.
is the technology has become a very, very important task.
Yes.
And with technology, there's another thing which has really taken an enormous shape, that's a risk. Now,
Hmm.
earlier, there used to be risk limited on particular certain areas only. But today, because of the technology, the risk profile has got different shapes and size and different angle altogether. So the banker need to remain very, very uh, alert and remain very focused on kind of risk arising day to day because of the banking. Another
Okay.
thing, another skill set which required is
Hmm.
it's about the credit underwriting.
Okay.
That is again a particular skill set which every banker need to have.
Okay.
So
Okay.
managing the risk and growing the book. These are the two skill set which are very much important today.
So sir, today you see multiple regional rural bank, and it's very, it's not a lot of it's not one of those institutions which is talked about a lot generally. But somebody who's listening to this for the first time, what makes serving rural customers, fundamentally different from serving urban customers?
See, there's a basic difference between these two set of customers. Uh,
Okay.
as we all know, the urban customer wants the speed and convenience.
Hmm.
Okay. And the urban customer, of course, has lots of scheduled tied up. So
Yeah.
the banking got to be on the GP, on the go kind of thing. Where
Hmm.
uh, uh, if you look at our rural set of customers, these
Hmm.
customers may not be that kind of in a hurry, uh,
Hmm.
and may not be having, uh, if we say, the technology alignment.
Yeah.
Even
They
we
may
have
not
the
be tech heavy as such.
tech alignment, or maybe may not be having access to that kind of very high-end smartphone, high-end
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah.
So the rural customer, when he wants to do banking, he wants to get assured first and wish to ensure that the entire banking transaction is smooth
Hmm.
and secure.
Okay.
He
Okay.
will not mind spending 10 minutes extra, but to ensure that transaction has gone through
Yeah.
properly.
Yeah.
Okay. So that the smooth transaction in a very calm manner, these are the
Hmm.
things which a rural customer, he wish to have the trust, the confidence that my transaction has gone smooth, everything
Hmm.
is right. He doesn't mind spending 10 extra minute. Whereas if you
Got
look at our urban set of customers, our urban set of customer want both the things together. He wants his
Yeah.
fast, but he wants it, uh,
Yeah.
I mean, very secure and ensured as well. So
Yeah.
probably, if it is because the rural set of customers, they have a different thought process because of the resources available, or the
Hmm.
kind of access to modern technology and the devices.
Hmm.
They have more time to spend at bank, whereas the urban customer would like to spend lesser time in the transactions.
You talked about the difference between the urban customer and the rural customer, but I was wondering that when you, because the rural customers are behaving in a different way, how do you deliver consistent customer service at scale when these customers are like spread across multiple villages, they speak very different languages maybe, and have very limited digital exposure? So doesn't customer service become a challenge in these cases, and some different kind of challenge?
See, Ashish, the customer service is always a challenge.
Okay.
Every customer has a unique requirement. Every
Yeah.
customer needs to be treated as uh, he needs required to be. Earlier, we used to say that treat every customer uh, as you wish to be treated, but now we say that treat every customer the way he wish to be treated. Okay, every
Hmm.
customer has so certainly, rural customer has different requirement, different challenges. But
Mhm.
the basic requirement for while serving a rural customer is empathy.
Hmm.
You need
Hmm.
to understand what is his requirement, what is
True.
his level of understanding, what
Hmm.
exactly he wish,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
exactly his compulsions, what exactly his resources are. And
Hmm.
accordingly, the customer service has to be provided to that rural
Hmm.
customer. There may
Hmm.
be certain customer who is only having a small account where he's keeping only the small balance because that
Hmm.
much resources he has. So his
Yeah.
requirements to that only. There could be a
Yeah.
farmer who need only the some amount of money for his crops.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
accordingly, it is again uh, need to be ensured that the need of those customers are fulfilled,
Hmm.
keeping that empathy in mind, and the trust has to remain of the very high level. The trust
Okay.
level has to remain of very high at all the time.
Okay. Okay. Because these people are not generally very technology enabled, or they may not have access to so many technology channels, right? Does it make it harder for you to deliver a good customer experience?
No, it should not come be a constraint or a hindrance in delivering customer service. Customer
Hmm.
service is basically the experience given to the customer while completing the required underlying transaction. So,
Makes sense.
yes, if somebody is little having challenge with the technology, he or she
Hmm.
understands that this is what I I have, and accordingly, the branch staff, they have to realign their
Hmm.
approach towards that particular customer to complete that particular transaction. So yes,
Hmm.
of course, at times the banker has that challenge to align the customer requirement and his competency.
Hmm.
Yes, of
And
course, if it is technology driven,
then it
both
is
of
very
them
difficult.
do
It,
come at a very.
Mhm. Yeah.
See, if it is a technology driven transaction, both of them come at a same platform and the
Yeah.
transaction happens.
Yeah.
So the alignment aspect is not that challenging.
Got it.
Whereas
Got it.
when transaction has to be done, uh, I mean, with the manual intervention, the understanding of the transaction, understanding of the customer behavior, and the response of the banker, they become very, very critical and important.
Fair. Then it becomes a function of uh, having good people on the ground, which means depends on how good your people are on the ground, how good the bankers are, how empathetic the bankers are, the good experience the customer will have. It becomes very
No,
people dependent. Is that correct?
yeah, see, it's always man behind the machine who matters. So the bankers on the counter or bankers who are dealing with the customer always play a very vital and critical role in any customer experience. Even that challenge can be at any center, any kind of center, but that challenge is more in the rural area. The rural
Oh.
area, you got to have that particular approach and the
Hmm.
attitude towards the customer. They may not be that much literate. They may not be having that kind of technology awareness. They may not be having the proper knowledge about what kind of transactions can take place therein. They may not be
Yeah.
proper knowledge of the repercussions of their responses. So
Makes
here,
sense.
the banker's role is very much important, very
Very good.
critical over
Yeah.
there. And that's
And
what required.
yeah. Yeah. And sir, because you're responsible for monitoring technology adoption across multiple rural banks, right? Uh, what kind of technology adoption shift you have seen on the ground in happening in the last 20 years? I am sure the computerization came in, then the internet banking came in. Right now, a lot of people have their own bank accounts, and all of that has happened. Is there a new trend of technology that you are already seeing being adopted into rural banks that, let's say, I am not aware about, or other people outside the world are not very much aware about?
One thing we need to understand that today banking system in the country is very robust. Our
Okay.
supervisors and our regulators, they are doing fantastic job. So
Okay.
they are ensuring that the whatever small or big bank are there, the
Mhm.
basic things remain at the core, which are same.
Hmm.
So I would very confidently or proudly say that the technology at the RRBs is not far behind uh, uh, as compared to the banks, other
Mhm.
larger banks, may it be public sector bank or may it be private sector bank. Each one of
Mhm.
them have the centralized banking core banking system. Each one of
Mhm.
them have the UPI Aadhaar based transactions capabilities. Each one
Yeah.
of them have all the other technology products. Each one of them are having adoption of the system which is there for the loan underwriting. Maybe the scale is little different at a different bank. So the
Mhm.
technology, basic technology is there at mobile-based transactions, internet banking. It's almost all, barring some bank here and there. There could be some changes, may not be having the exact level, but the technology at the rural center or at the RRB is adequate as per the requirement.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And sir, in this case, because the rural India, it seems like voice works better than having mobile applications or SMS. Any conversation done either face to face through voice as a channel or through phone calls as a channel is much better than maybe saying that, hey, take our mobile application and do XYZ out of this, right? This has been my understanding. Is that a good understanding or that is wrong? Happy to
No,
hear that.
you're bang on that. You're bang on, Ashish. See, the human touch is always very much, as we talk, it's very important. So the voice gives that comfort. Uh,
Hmm.
and many of the time, the understanding the jargon which is written, reading, and understanding or following different links probably may create some confusions. So the voice-led transactions are certainly helpful, are certainly useful, and it adds lots of comfort. That's true. I fully agree with your understanding. What you say.
Yeah. And I'm sure, sir, you are also aware about the recent developments, right, that has happened in the voice as a field. A lot of AI has come into voice now, right? So you might have calls that sounds like human, but that are done by an AI, right?
Oh,
Uh,
yeah,
has it
that
has it already reached to rural banks, or they are still supposed to evaluate and adopt this technology? Where are they in the process of adoption? And the reason I'm asking this question also is that because voice is a very important part of how the customer experience looks like in the rural banks, right? This may actually help you double down on the customer experience that was difficult to do earlier because of lower number of bankers, or maybe the bandwidth capacity was limited, right? With AI you can scale it up very very fast. So would love to hear your thought process on that side, on how you are trying to adopt this technology into the banks.
see the AI is now the integral part of the banking. Okay.
Okay.
Again, I
Okay.
as I said that the level varies.
Hmm.
Okay. The AI helps in selection of the right kind of customer. The AI helps the right kind of the approach to for a particular set of accounts or transactions to a particular customer. Okay, so AI is now the integral part. Yes, the level which are there at RRBs still need a lot more, lot more. But these are dynamic thing, as you understand.
Yeah.
By every passing day, something or else other getting added to it. So yes, this is work in progress.
Got it. And have you seen rural banks starting to adopt voice AI now, or is it in early phases right now? Mostly it will come
It's
to
early
urban.
phases. Yeah, this early phases, there's a adoption of voice is there, but it still has a long way to go. Has a long way to go.
Understood. Understood. Makes sense. And India talks a lot about, this whole Viksit Bharat 2024, 2047. But the execution will happen at the rural level, right? First, and then only you can think about becoming a Viksit Bharat. So, in your view, what role will regional rural banks play in India's development over the next decade?
See, I would always say that, and I would say this again, that if India has to achieve that Viksit Bharat by 2047, the rural economy cannot remain uh, behind or aloof.
Mhm.
So it's very important, it's very pertinent that the rural economy also joins the hand with the rest of the economy. And for that, for growth of rural economy, RRPs are playing a very, very critical and important role.
Okay.
RRPs are ensuring that the banking facilities is provided to the last man of the village or the last man in the queue. The banking facility uh, is being made available to each and every person in in the villages, in the far off villages, may it be on the hills, may it be in deep in the forest. Okay, may it be geographically very difficult terrain, and RRBs are doing wonderful job in this. So the role of RRBs is very much important in the vision of Viksit Bharat and 2047, and this has been well understood by every uh, every stakeholder. This has been well understood. So the the growth or development of rural area is very much important for this region, and RRBs are very much important for this.
Makes sense. And because you have seen the 3 decades of change from registers to real-time systems, right? For leaders who are building institutions that serve millions, what is that one lesson from your journey that you have learned and that you want to share with everybody else?
I would say that banking is a very noble profession.
Hmm.
This is the profession where you can make difference in whatever role you are.
Hmm.
Profession where you can create impact, long-lasting impact in the lives of masses.
Hmm.
That's one thing.
Okay.
Secondly, the banking is the job where you get to understand different regions, different kind of language, different kind of socio-economic conditions because of different roles you need to play in your journey. So it
Hmm.
gives a lots of satisfaction if you have the basic skill set or the basic virtues we can call it. That is, you need to have the very high level of integrity. That's
Hmm.
very important. You need to have empathy.
Yeah, yeah. Makes sense.
You
And this is something that is also stands out for me in the whole conversation that rural customers are a little bit different. And the main important part that you have to make sure that you help them better is the being the empathetic part. Right.
and and the bankers must have the the very high level of adaptability.
Yeah.
In, in the journey, the banker has to serve in rural areas mandatorily. The banker has to serve in different roles which are mandatorily requirement as per the CVC guidelines or whatever guidelines. The banker has to keep on changing the rules. So it is very much important that banker has the very high level of integrity. The banker has empathy, the banker has adaptability, and constant learning is very much important. You need to keep yourself updated, abreast about the latest development. What's happening in the technology? What's happening in the economy? What's happening in the world? If you do,
Hmm.
yeah, don't keep yourself updated about that, probably
Hmm.
you will not be able to do justice to your role. But at
Yes.
the end of the day, every banker need to make sure that I'm there for the customer. I'm
Yeah.
here to serve my customers. And my every action has to be centered around the customer. The customer centricity is the key for success of every banker. If the
Correct.
banker keeps his action
Mhm.
aligned to the requirement of customer, keeping the customer in the center, keeping the customer centricity at uh, at the core. The banking is something where it can give you the professional satisfaction. It can give you the opportunity to make difference in the lives of the people around.
Makes sense. Makes sense. No, I think this is very helpful, sir. Thank you for such a thoughtful conversation, especially the whole part and the focus on customer centricity and the empathy. If India truly wants to become a developed nation, it seems like the conversation like these about inclusion, access, last mile execution, having empathy towards the rural side of things, that matters a lot actually. Thank you so much, sir, for your time that you have given to us today.
Thank you very much, Ashish, and I wish that the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047 comes true, and the RRBs play the role as expected. Will certainly will play, and each one of us do our bit for the particular vision. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.